This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everyone. Got a question for you. When you come home from a long day, do you walk through the door of your place and do you say, it's good to be home? Like, I just feel I'm happy. I can't wait to get into that couch or go into bed, and just there's a feeling of just connection and happiness. Is your home feeling like more than just a place to live? Is it more of like a sanctuary for you? If it's not any of the above, maybe it's time to redesign, take a look at things. A lot of us are keeping our homes longer just because of the market and everything involved in that, and redoing it. We are going to talk with a specialized interior designer today, get some ideas, walk you through the process. And it's so great to have Trish Bonney joining us on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, great to have you here. Really looking forward to learning how you do what you do and really what's possible. What do you hear from people that you work with nowadays? Is it we're going to keep our homes longer and we need to make some changes because it doesn't feel like it fits us? Do you hear that?
Yeah, today, especially in our economy, it is more financially beneficial for the homeowners to stay in their home and update as they need. Then that way, it's also becoming a time where we are, as a family, staying in the home as a unit.
Mm.
Even if the kids are older, it's getting harder and harder for them to leave. So it's even making accommodations for them as well.
I'm glad you brought that up. So that being said, the open concept was a thing, 10 years ago and then continued to
Mhm.
be. But now I'm hearing that, just to your point, with many children staying in the home or coming back, that some of the open concept is going away to create separate spaces for more people so they have their own space. Is that really what's going on here?
Yes, I think more so during the pandemic, people realize that open concept can be a little rough, especially when you're in the home for a lot of time throughout the day with your children or even with adults. Somebody might want to watch a sports game and somebody else might want to go have a coffee with a friend. And if you're yelling during the sports game and trying to have a nice, comfortable conversation with your friend, it was tough when those open spaces were so throughout the house. And so now we are just like with everything, with fashion, with design, we go back in time and we go back to a little more closed off, but not quite as much maybe, but home offices, home gyms,
Hmm.
um, playrooms where mom can still be nearby and hear what's going on, but not necessarily have to hear everything. So yeah, that concept, not only in homes, but in commercial spaces, is changing significantly.
Hmm. What makes you different? A lot of designers out there. What do you feel is maybe your niche specialty, or just what makes you different in terms of your process?
I think what's a big difference for us is we are not niche designers. We don't design, like rinse and repeat the same design over and over again. We are specific to our clients' needs and wants. I make sure that everybody that I hire onto my team, we all have formal education in our background. So we're trained to design in any of those areas. But we also make the client a part of the design. So we give them options. So it's not just designed for me because what I like is possibly not what they want. So when you look at our Instagram or our website, it looks very eclectic, and it is for a reason because it is specific to our clients' needs, not to ours.
I'm just getting a download in my mind here that you must also be like a counselor or a therapist when you have a couple and then one half wants this, the other half
Yes.
wants that, and somehow you're in the middle and you got to meet them both ways, right?
Yes. But to me, that feels like a challenge. I love being challenged. I do want to hear separately from each of the members of the family. So we do have questionnaire, and I do ask that they don't share their answers with each other. I want to see them separately. Don't discuss it. Um, Hopefully they're on the same page, but if they're not, it is my challenge to mesh the family, the household, whoever is involved, mesh those feelings together that they want to feel when they walk through that door.
And I feel I'm not the expert and very much far from, although I will say this, I'm in between houses right now. I will never do it alone ever again. That's all I'm going to say. It's, thought I could do it, came out okay. Um, let's just say, I don't know if you do outdoor living spaces, but I renovated a backyard with the house I sold in the last year and change. And I'm just sharing, it's not about me, but I'm sharing this because I think it's impactful. Renovated the backyard. I'm not a contractor, but kept tabs on the project. I ran some of the electrical. I'm like hands-on geeky like that. Between that, work hours, kids, on and on and on, I legit gave myself an ulcer. I'm not even kidding. Like, send me to the
Yeah.
hospital. Not even kidding. So I will never do it alone. I don't suggest others do it either. That's why there are professionals there that know what they're looking at and can interpret what you want to do and then turn it into, a wonderful project. What's your favorite room? Is one that stands out for you?
I really like kitchen, especially if a client is more adventurous, where we can add some color to it. But it's again, it's a challenge because there are the most codes that go into a kitchen. It is where you are going to probably spend the most money in your project is in a kitchen. And so it's wanting to do something beautiful, functional, but within your means. And my goal is always to beat your expectations. I am very upfront and honest. Kitchens are not, they're not like they are on TV. They're not going to be done in a weekend. They're not going to come under $10,000. They're pricey and they take time if you want it done right. So I'm very upfront and honest with my clients from the get-go, but I would say I like all the rooms, but that one is probably the most fun for me.
Hmm. Is the kitchen still viewed as the gathering place?
Yeah, it's the heart of the home. I mean,
Mm.
especially everybody wants that big island now that everybody can sit around, or that the kids can sit in front of mom and do the homework, or, you have ample space for cooking. You have a lot of zones that well, if the client is somebody who actually cooks in their kitchen, you can create zones for them where, baking is done over here, the normal meals are done over here. So it is where you all gather, even for, friends to come over and just have a little get together. That is where you first go.
Hmm. I like to get into the psychology of this. Do you feel there's more going on than just, well, we're going to change the color, we're going to add this, we're going to add that, that there's a psychological aspect to this as well?
100%. There's a psychological aspect in every single room, but in your kitchen, it's you want to be able to get things done efficiently because no, who wants to sit in there and do the dishes all night long? So it's also thinking about where to put those dishes after you pull them out of a dishwasher. How quickly can I get to all the spices, for example, when I'm cooking? How easily can I access each item that I need? So that's why I said, like, the zones, they're very specific. I had one client, she was very big into baking, not so much into cooking, but her daughter did the cooking. So also separating the two of them if they are working in the kitchen at the same time. So it's a lot of psychology that goes within the kitchen and however many people are involved in it as well.
And I have to imagine logistics. So now I'm getting pictures of the house before I referred to the house before that. And they had remodeled it before I bought it. And the kitchen. there were some drawers that when you opened them, they would hit the molding on the wall
Mm.
or they would hit a door. Other drawers would hit the laundry room door. This is the stuff you want to avoid. And I'm sure you're a stickler for those kind of details.
Yeah, there's a lot into DIY kitchens versus designer kitchens where you work with somebody who actually is certified in kitchen and bath. There are spacers that you put in between cabinets. A lot of people, they're not sexy, and a lot of people don't want them, but at the same time, there's a huge purpose to each of these spaces, especially when you have like corners. Corners can be a huge nightmare. You have to have very specific measurements to fit every everything that you want. A lot of people want the inserts that go within the cabinets, the stuff that you don't see until you open it up.
Mm.
But those things take up a lot more space than people understand. So if you are just trying to get it done as financially advantageous as possible, honestly, it is better to work with a designer. Yes, you have some more financial aspects that go with that, but one, you won't get ulcers. We'll get those for you,
Mm.
but you'll also get everything that you want the first time rather than screwing it up and having to redo it.
And that's just it. Do it right the first time. And I
Yeah.
can't tell you in that particular house with the drawer cabinet challenge that when other family members would come over, to help cook or whatever, let's say it's a holiday, in my mind would be I'd have to say, just be careful when you open that drawer. I don't want to have to say that
Yeah.
because what was happening? The molding was getting all scuffed up from the cabinet drawer, and then the drawer itself was getting all beat up, and there was no fixing it. Once it's in, that's a big challenge because the cabinets are all measured out. Short of take the molding off the door, you're not going to do that. So do it right the first time. Um, Trish, what got you here into design? Were you always creative, artistic?
Always creative, 100%. When I was little, I always wanted to be an artist, but
Mm.
I was also told, I heard it frequently, artists are starving for a reason. I grew up in a really tiny town. If you didn't leave the town, you're probably going to stay there for life. So I actually did an early enlistment into the military. When I was 16, I guaranteed that I was going to go in. I did my time, and all the time that I was in there, I stuck with what everybody had told me. Go to school for the traditional things like a teacher or nurse or something like that. When I retired, I did find out that I had cancer. And the most amazing thing ever happened to me. I had a nurse who asked me what I was looking forward to when I got up the next day. I was teaching at that time. I had retired from the military and I was a teacher. I did not look forward to teaching. And other than my family, she wanted to know what else I had to look forward to. And I really didn't have an answer.
Mm.
So she asked me just what you asked me. What did I want to be? You know, what did I want to do in life at this point? And I was like, I would like to do anything creative. When I woke up, she had a laptop with the Art Institute pulled up. She had made an appointment for me to talk to somebody in a month, and I signed up. I tried, I looked at different programs, but interior design was the one I thought of. I never in my wildest dreams ever contemplated being an interior designer. I didn't even know when I was younger that was a thing. But I looked at that, looked at all the classes, got super excited because it included drawing, color theory,
Mm.
history of art. So I went that route, and I am so, so blessed to have had her put in my path because I love every minute of it.
It's almost as if she was intuitive and knew.
Yeah. Yeah. She
Wow.
was great.
It's funny how our paths go because as you talk about being an artist, I wanted to be a cartoonist. I came like that close to being a syndicated cartoonist. And I was drawing cartoons since, I could hold a pen. And that was in my early 20s, but I was already doing broadcasting since I was 17. And
Mhm.
just what you said, starving artist. So I was like, all right, well, I'm already employed working. I'll let the graphic side of me go by the wayside, but then fast forward decades later, open up a marketing company, and all of that graphical eye, color coordination, all of that, I
Mhm.
used it and still do to
Yeah.
the day. So
Yes.
yeah, I guess once it's in you, it's in you. You know, you just got to find a place best suited for pushing it
Right.
out, the direction where you want to go in. Tell me about the process. So somebody comes before you, we're keeping our home. We definitely got to do the kitchen, looking at the living room, maybe some bedrooms. How does it begin?
Well, there's a lot of paperwork involved, but of course we'll get past that once we've got the questionnaire and everything. We go right to work. If we have to measure the rooms, we'll go out and do that and photograph the befores. Um, but we come up with three options for every single aspect of your project. So going back to a kitchen, three faucets, three countertops, cabinetry, uh, colors, hardware, so on and so forth. Um, and then we will present that to you and you make your selections. We like to do it in our showroom because we do have a library here. If we don't hit the mark, we can run back in the library and pull other samples. And then once you've made your selections, I'm going to work on the proposal, the pricing of everything. And we're also going to be making a 3D photorealistic rendering. We don't use AI because it's great. It's come a long way. It's still not 100%. And we
Yep.
want to make sure you see as best as possible to scale what you're going to look forward to. You approve that. And we just keep going forward. We start purchasing your products. We prefer to have all the products in-house in our warehouse before construction starts. Because once construction starts, if you don't have your items in, it just sits there and you're left without a kitchen or whatever room for that long of time. So we try to have everything in before that starts and then they can get going and implement.
And kitchen, we'll put that to the side because that's a different situation. But let's say somebody is looking to redo their living room area, maybe and other rooms as well. Do you find the pieces for them, be it the couch or the love seat and all of that?
Yes. To take that a step further, we do have a custom line that we make in the United States in North Carolina. So if you have a strange, let's say it's a very long but narrow room that needs a very specific size sofa, they're not easy to find. So we can have it made specifically for that client. They get to pick out their fabrics and everything like that. But we'll do the floor plan first to know exactly what fits, how it looks, and then again we can do those 3D renderings before a client financially commits to the furnishings. Then that way they can make sure they feel comfortable going forward.
In terms of an analogy, I went and got fitted for a suit, and I did it back in the day and loved it. It's just like, this is me. This fits perfect. It's
Mhm.
versatile, timeless, and after going store after store after store, finding suits that look right and fit right and all of that, I went back and found somebody else to custom design. This is just last week, and now they're working on it. And it was pricey, but you know what? Considering how long it's going to be in your possession, I feel it was
Yeah.
worth it. And I look at the same thing for like living rooms and such. I moved quick in my current location. Again, looking for a house when the market is right. Um, I didn't take things into consideration. I just ran, bought, some furniture, blah, 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 blah. Looking back at it, I would have gravitated toward more of a custom situation because even the quality, like it's not like I
Mhm.
entertain all the time, but even somebody sitting on the couch maybe 5 times, you can see that it's starting to get wear. And back in the day, I bought a living room set, had it for like 15 years, and it was, well, 12. It was great. Like it lasted. It makes a huge difference. Again, my feeling is if you're going to do it right, because you're going to be living
Yeah.
with it for a long time, right?
Yeah. Well, there's also what we call fast furniture now. Everybody, especially again during the pandemic, we were all constantly online. And I think that's why, for me, that was my biggest year in interior design. People were just sitting there and they didn't like what they had, or they had all this extra time and were just online gravitating to all this stuff. But with that being said, the furniture isn't lasting. Our landfills are just getting overwhelmed with fast furniture, fast products that we are putting in our house. And
Yeah.
you see on social media all these, I just bought all this crap on Amazon, come and get it. Yes, it looks great in the moment, but is it going to last you? And when you said that, yeah, it might be a little more expensive, potentially with the manufacturer that we work with, I'm actually able to do some custom pieces that are less than, say, your big box stores like a Crate and Barrel or Pottery Barn. And at the end of the day, you are really getting what you want, and we're making sure your fabrics are, good, the great quality that you should get, instead of they only have these five, none of them are good for spills and stuff like that. So it is worth at least checking out with a
Mm.
designer who carries a custom line, because it may be more financially advantageous for you.
Didn't even think of a custom line. And
Yeah,
my vision was that interior designers have vendors that they can buy from and they're familiar with it. And yeah, it's better quality, so it costs more, but in the long run, you're keeping it longer. Somebody doesn't have to do a completely custom situation, right?
correct. I mean, we do have our basics that we can order from, and still you can pick out your legs, the wood color, or the metal and the fabrics. And if it's the standard size, then definitely the cost is way less. If we are really super customizing, um, it could go either way.
Hmm.
There was a client from a whole different state that called me up because I do have some dealer accounts and they were interested in a specific furniture line. The bed that they wanted, my cost, there is different costs for interior designers versus the consumer, was going to be $26,000 for a bed. It was a designer bed. We were actually able to remake it at our manufacturer, and it really is borderline copyright infringement, but we changed it up enough to make it so it wasn't totally exactly the same, but it was $8,000, the client's cost. So
Mm.
saved them a huge amount of money, and they got their dream bed that they wanted that was at a ridiculous price for retail.
You weren't copying, you were inspired. That's what I go with.
Right.
Um, Wonderful talking with you. Love your vibe, your energy, and
Thank
just,
you.
the passion. Like you want to be creative and
Mhm.
make people feel like home is truly a home. How do we connect with you? How do we find you, Trish?
You can go on our website, which is everything. If you Google tab interior designs, you can find our website, our Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. Contact us through there. Our phone number is on there, our address. You're welcome to come and see us. But yeah, we're just happy to get going with anybody who is looking to have some fun in their house.
Yeah. And that's what it should be fun. It
Yeah,
really should. And it sounds
yeah,
like you make it fun the entire process. Thank you so much for being here today. Looking forward next time we get together. Got lots to talk about. I'm detecting we might go room by room by room, sharing ideas. So looking forward to
sounds
that.
good. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.